So yeah, we'll formally call the meeting to order at 6:37. So the only addition I've got is to add under new business a request from the Montgomery Center for the Arts. Anybody else have anything under to add or change on the agenda?
No.
No. Okay. So with that, we'll move on to approving the minutes of August 3rd. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of August 3rd?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of August 3rd.
Okay, second. Great. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great. Minutes have been approved. Moving on to Public Works. Grant, I don't know of any grant updates. Mark, are you aware of anything going on with?
No, I'm not aware of any. No.
Okay.
We take radar signs off now?
Yeah. So this is the last agenda that will have the fixed radar speed signs on the agenda. So
yes.
The update there is that they are installed. And I've already had at least one person ask me when the town-wide vote was to do that.
Good. Good.
At least they don't say smile, you're speeding, right?
The tax bills just went out, so I guess we'll be enjoying our select board position now.
Totally.
Ouch.
Hey, just a quick question. When you guys got your tax bill, was there a letter in the envelope?
Yes.
Yes. Okay,
yes.
Good. I think they just didn't put a letter in mine because they probably thought it was superfluous, and I was like, oh my God, the letters didn't get put in the tax bills. So
Charlie, you're the unique person who didn't get a letter. We thought you didn't need it.
That's fine. I figured that.
Can we vote on that unique comment?
Yeah.
No.
All right. Great. Well, good. I'm glad. So yeah, the bills have gone out, so I'm sure we'll be hearing more about that in the coming days.
Yeah, I'm sure.
As usual. Great. So anything else under roads and bridges, Mark?
Not as far as I know. No.
Okay. Cool. Moving on to buildings and grounds, then 98 Main Street. This has just been held over. Still no word from the post office on anything on that front. So we'll just carry that through.
Okay.
Generator repairs. So at the last meeting, I had mentioned that I was trying to reach out to a number of different service companies to get a new quote. Just to recap, Brookfield Service told us it would cost about 11 grand to repair the generator at the water plant, and they quoted us about 18,000 for a new one. I talked with 3 different companies. 2 of them don't service our area, but Milton Cat does. And after working with Milton Cat for about a day, going back and forth on things, they came back with an offer to replace the current control panel with an estimate between 3,000 and 5,000.
Oh,
yeah.
3,000 being if it goes quick and it's not super bad, 5,000 being if it needs a little bit more work. So given that it was a max estimate of 5,000 compared to the 11,000 from Brookfield,
yeah.
I gave him the green light to just go and execute the work.
Yeah.
So that is now in the mix, and they're going to come up with a service agreement for us to review next time to compare to what Brookfield is doing for us.
Oh, okay.
So if we want to change to Milton Cat for service, we can certainly look at that as an option.
Okay. Yeah.
But we do have a new control panel, and it is in the process of order, delivery, and installation. So hopefully within the next week we'll have that in.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we can get that off of our agenda.
Yes.
The TAP program. So the kickoff meeting for that is going to be August 25th at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
On site. So if anybody's interested in attending that, we're going to meet Dubois King again on August 25th at 11 a.m. right on site. and that will get that project rolling.
Mhm.
So that's the update for the TAP project. FEMA update. We're still progressing, getting the reimbursement requests in and all the paperwork. Right now, we've got a little bit of a stall. Anytime we worked in a stream, even if it was part of recovery following the disaster, so opening roads back up, all the things we needed to do, anytime we worked in a stream, we need to retroactively now get approval from DEC and from Army Corps of Engineers that we had their permission, or we have retroactive permission to do what we did.
Okay.
Chris already gave us something in writing for the Brook Road project, which FEMA has and is fine with, but we need to get that from Chris for the Black Falls Road work, the Hannah Clark Brook Road, and for one of the culverts on West Hill.
Okay.
Hill West. So
Hill West.
I wrote Chris an email last week asking him about it. I haven't heard back from him yet, so I followed up this morning. I mean, Chris is a great guy, but he is really, really, really bad at responding to emails in a quick
Yes.
fashion. So I'll keep after him. The Army Corps was great. When I got a hold of them about the other stuff, they were super easy to work with and replied within like 10 minutes. So I don't think there'll be an issue, but so I'll keep after Chris at DEC for that. Other than that, things are progressing on that front. The work's getting done. So we'll keep getting those requests in. So that's it for Public Works, unless there's anything else anyone has for Public Works.
No.
Okay, if not, then I guess we can jump to visitors while we're here. We can circle back at 7 if anybody jumps on, but Larry and Anita, did you have anything for visitors?
I don't. Do you,
No.
Anita?
No,
Neither one of us.
Okay, great. Then we'll keep moving. Water Commission issues. There are no Water Commission issues that I'm aware of.
I think Ross got some hydrants flushed.
Oh
We
yeah,
got that
yeah.
done. Yeah, we got that done.
Nice.
Other than that, there's no business for the Water Commission tonight. So just moving along. Old business, COVID-19. I don't have any updates on this specific to Montgomery or anything. You know, the bi-weekly press conferences, you know, news from the governor, the general stuff is out there, but we haven't gotten anything yet as far as any new guidance for town or anything specific around our operations. So there's no updates there unless anybody else has anything going on.
No.
No, okay.
Oh,
Moving on, the electric vehicle charging stations. So Suzanne was going to have Doug scope the Grange Hall for this. I don't know what the status of that is. So if there's no objection, we'll just table that until the next meeting when Suzanne is able to join us. Item C here, the wastewater and streetscape projects. So some status updates. We should be hearing from the USDA this week on their funding offer. Misty, who is one of the, can't think of what her title is, but she's one of like the second in command at rural development, did call today, and she said that our project, they've added a designation to our project to formally qualify it as a regional economic development initiative, which adds points to our project. So more good news that they're essentially trying to bump up our project's points as much as possible prior to the finishing underwriting so that we can get the best offer possible. So it's encouraging to have them, you know, doing that. So we should hear from USDA this week. We did hear from Northern Borders last week, the Northern Borders Regional Commission. They got in touch with us to essentially say that they had a lot of great applications. They can't fully fund all of the ones they want to fully fund. And so they wanted affirmation from us that if we got partial funding, it would not kill the project, essentially. What they don't want to do is say, oh, you guys need $1 million, we'll give you X, but that wouldn't be enough to make it a feasible project. And so we submitted the affirmation of that to them, saying that we'll take what you want to give us. They're voting this Friday. The commission itself is voting this Friday. So we should know either Friday afternoon or early next week. Based on what we heard last week, it sounds like at a minimum, fingers crossed, that we're looking at something a little north of $500,000.
What were we asking for?
We asked for $1 million.
Oh, okay.
Which was the max ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is from who?
This is from the Northern Borders Regional Commission.
Thank you.
Yep. And so we resubmitted the project budget with 500,000, not $1 million, to kind of show essentially what their money would do. It's pretty simple. Their money would help fund construction costs, so it wasn't a hard tweak to the budget. The one thing we don't know is that how the other folks in the mix responded, if they responded in time, what their answers were. Because hypothetically, if 2 other projects came back and said that they're not feasible at not fully funding levels, that could change things for us. I don't know. But the positive thing is that it sounds like we're on their agenda, radar, docket, or whatever you want to call it, for at least 500,000. So not $1 million, but not something to turn your nose up at.
No.
Yep.
That's great.
Yeah.
Only timeline, next steps for this. So Wednesday night at 6:30 is going to be the public information meeting. It is a public meeting, so it's posted online on the websites. Anybody's welcome to join it. But we did send out invitations, postcards last week to all of the property owners who are on the wastewater or the water system, essentially using the water system boundaries as a placeholder for the boundaries of the wastewater system. So that was the way we figured was the easiest way to get everybody who would be in the system a postcard. So I'm hoping that Wednesday night, a lot of people, if not all of them, hop on. The agenda is kind of informal. It's going to be essentially, status updates, timeline reviews, what is included in final engineering, what's happening. We're going to need landowner permissions for access for things. Some of the governance material we'll go over around the sewer district, the ordinance that we'll have to be looking at, construction timeframes, and then we're going to dig into like system design specifics, which I think is where most folks are going to have questions around, like, how does my house connect to it? What happens to my existing system? Who pays for that? I just put in a big stone retaining wall. Are you going to drill right through it? Should I hold off on projects given? So that's kind of the meat of what I want to get into. And John from Hoyle Tanner is going to join us. So he'll be there to answer the construction engineering questions.
Okay.
So yeah, Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Back here, same place, same channel.
What's the login contact for that, Charlie? I didn't see that on the agenda that you circulated. I just didn't know if I was another source for me to find that.
You mean the link to join the meeting?
Yeah.
So the link to join
totally
the meeting. Oh, it wasn't on this agenda. No, it's so it's.
Oh no, I meant the agenda that you emailed earlier.
It's on your website.
Oh, okay. I'll just go to the website.
Yeah, so it's on. If you go to the Thrives website.
Yeah.
On the top of the Thrives, and then if you go to the town website and the select board page, it'll be on our page.
Oh, okay. In the calendar there too. Great.
Orange ones. Yep.
Yeah, I was bummed I missed the last one. How did it go?
The last one. What? Last what?
Was there no meeting like last week prior? Am I
No,
totally missed
so
meeting?
this- Yeah, sorry. No, we had planned to have this last week, but we didn't have our ducks in a row, essentially.
Oh, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Oh, great. I was bummed that I missed it, but I didn't miss it. Okay, great. Sorry, I totally missed
so
that.
we moved it to this week. Yep.
Okay, cool. Perfect. Great.
Yeah, so that's 6:30 Wednesday.
Sweet.
So that's kind of the update on the wastewater and streetscape projects. Anybody have any questions there?
It's like to see the water is continuing to part for this. I keep waiting for some other shoe to drop and it keeps not dropping. It's fabulous.
Yeah, well, the next steps are going to be the chasing the dollars, chasing the money.
Yeah.
There's a couple other big grant applications we're going to need to look at soon, and then, yeah. And then as far as the public engagement goes, this first meeting is focusing really on the wastewater system, but at some point, as we get into, late August or September, we're going to have to kind of re-energize the streetscape public engagement portion of it too. So, just note that.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Awesome. So the next item on the agenda, if there's nothing else on the wastewater and streetscape projects, this is kind of just a formality. So back on May 18th, the board passed the tax due date proposal that adjusted due dates as well as how penalties and interest are assessed. At that point, we had voted on the tax due dates being August 13th, November 13th, and May 13th. The state dragged their foot considerably in getting us the information that we needed from them to get tax bills out. So we weren't able to get them out in time to have an August 13th payment. So the tax bills that went out have a September 14th payment. So it's September 14th, November 13th, and May 13th. So we just need a formal motion from the board to amend the property tax due dates to reflect that they're going to be September 14th, November 13th, and May 13th.
I'll make that motion. And then, yeah.
Okay, I think Mark got you there. So Mark's got the motion and Jacob's got the second on that. Great. So is there any further discussion on the motion?
Is there any kind of a cash? Oh, sorry, I think I have a bit of a lag. Is there any kind of a cash flow impact that we should be aware of, or is that negligible?
No, I've checked in with Aaron once a week on that kind of, just to see what we're doing, what's going on, and everything seems good. And if we do get the projected income starting, as early as this week, it's going to help us. Based on prior year projections of who pays when, we should see income starting to come in as early as this week or next. So we should be good there. And we are still getting in other things from FEMA and other funds related to the water project. So we're in an okay place.
Okay, cool. Thanks for clarifying.
Could we get like a budget update the next meeting? We haven't had one for a while, I don't think.
Oh,
I can look over the road stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah, I will ask. I'll ask Aaron for a breakdown, and then I'll email that out to everybody prior, and then we can discuss it.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so any further discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, motion carries. So that's tax due dates. I did see Barry join, so given that we already kind of did visitors because there weren't a whole lot, we can circle back. Barry, did you have anything for visitors? Hey, Barry, you there? Okay, well, Barry, if you do come back on and you have anything for visitors, feel free to chime in. Item E under old business, the Communications Union District update. There's no update at this time. I had included that in case there was any news from them on their progress. So we'll just carry this forward as a placeholder for updates on this project as they progress. So nothing specific tonight.
Did you get back to the news, WCX, about that? I see they had sent us an email and stuff.
Yeah, I did, and we talked and ended up never connecting. They interviewed Sean in Enosburg, and they interviewed someone in Fairfax, so they got it covered.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a disheartening article in Vermont Digger about the sort of state's efforts to conduct reverse auctions to take advantage of federal funds that could undermine the competitiveness of CUDs in certain districts, which may be slightly concerned about Comcast, but I suppose we'll just see how it plays out. I don't know if you all saw that or not.
No, could you email that? Could you email a link?
Yeah, I'll Yep, I'll find it and circulate it.
Awesome. Thanks, Jacob.
Mhm.
Cool. Anything else under old business? Great. We're cruising along. New business. So I had a conversation last week with Marcia, and it sounds like the garden club is going to be disbanding. So
Oh,
follow up to that was going to be what happens to the garden club's assets essentially, and who might roll over and take on the like planting boxes and stuff, like the tubs, you know, all the things the garden club used to do. So don't have any kind of solid news on that tonight, but just wanted to put it out there that it sounds like the garden club is going to be dissolving due to, I think, just a lack of, you know, I don't want to say interest, but a lack of engaged people.
mhm.
So
Oh.
I'm gonna get, yeah.
Sad to hear that.
So the item B under new business, the absentee ballot request item, I don't know, was the board copied on Colin's correspondence last week?
Yes.
Yes, we were.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We,
So that's what this was about. He asked pretty vehemently that it be put on the agenda, so it's on the agenda. I don't see Colin. I also don't know what we can do about it right now because he's now formally submitted the complaint to the Secretary of State's office, so it's kind of out of our hands. So anyway, that's what that item is all about.
okay. It's on the agenda.
Yep.
A complaint.
We talked about it. His complaint generally had to do with the requirement of when absentee ballots have to be made available. And based on my understanding of what happened, I think Colin might be confusing when absentee ballots have to be made available versus when you receive one. I think in Colin's case, he didn't request the ballot until well after they were initially made available. And then due to the post office being slow, he didn't get the ballot until a small time frame before the vote itself. So I think his concern was that absentee ballots were not being made available in the time frame required by statute. I don't think that's factually accurate. However, he still might not have gotten his because of other circumstances in a timely fashion. But in any case, Secretary of State's office is on the case, so we should know something soon.
No comment.
Feel
All
free.
right, item C here, voter checklist. So we're going to hit this at our next meeting. So Liz is going to reach out to the BCA members to see who out of that crew wants to join us. But rather than try to schedule a completely separate meeting of the BCA, which involves the select board, what's going to happen is Liz is going to join us for this part of the meeting. We'll have a quorum of the BCA, assuming the board is here, and then any other BCA members that want to join can, and we will do the voter checklist review at that meeting. So on September 7th, we'll be doing that.
Civil authority.
Yep.
BCA.
Awesome. And then the only added item that I had was the MCA request. So I got an email from Sebastian, and he was asking if the town would be willing to cover the costs of a load of what he described as stone findings. I'm not familiar with the term, but it sounds like a fine crushed stone that packs. Essentially, they're looking to fill some potholes in their parking lot. And he said that the estimate they had was about $100 for the material they needed, and was wondering if the town would essentially foot that bill, given that they're in bad financial circumstances. And I did go back and forth with him about the material itself and whether or not, you know, gravel would work. My thought process being that there might be a little bit of a different take on whether or not we could go, you know, drop off half a load of gravel for them to spread versus, you know, facilitate the purchase of material from outside our own stockpiles. So I just wanted to leave that to the board. I essentially told Sebastian that my gut was that if it was a material that we had on hand that we could give them some small de minimis volume of, we would be okay with it. But likely going out and sourcing outside materials that we don't, the board would probably decline, just on the basis that, well, we understand that the MCA is having financial trouble, so is pretty much everybody. And we can't really start a precedent for funding community organizations outside of the annual allocation of the budget. But I wanted to put it before the board so that we could talk about it now and then get back to them for. So
You don't offer any gravel to class 4 roads.
Well, we do bring
we
some
do.
material up. Like we gave 2 loads of gravel to, when Gabby asked us earlier this year, you know, we dropped off some gravel up there and
we do some on the other side.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, if you need some, Larry, we can bring you up some. I mean,
Yep.
We just bought some and put it in ourselves the other day to take care of a bad spot.
oh, you did. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, if
But
you
I
need
mean-
more, let us know.
We
Yeah.
haven't been, on our request for gravel in the past have been rather negative results. So we kind of gave up asking anymore.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think when anybody needs material and it's a reasonable request, and it's one of those things where, you know, the landowners or property owners are, you know, taking the initiative to, like, if we dump it and they spread it kind of a thing. I think
Yeah.
we're open to that totally.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Or sometimes we just dumped it in a pile and then they can spread it themselves. Yeah.
That's fine. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah. What's the other? We brought a load up to Rushford Valley too. That was the other spot we brought some. So anyway, any thoughts on this?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it just sets a precedence that, I don't know. I mean, yeah, we can't afford to fix our driveway. It's a public safety building. And now, you know, so,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
Don't think it
it's also-
sets a good.
It is also, just remember that, like, the MCA is not a arm of municipal function.
No.
Seems like it is a lot because it's right there, but like they are a community organization, same as Franklin County Home Health, same as Hazen's Knots Association, same as. So the concern would be that if we start doing this for non-municipal entities, that
Yeah.
it negates the budget process that we go through every year.
Because we do
Yeah, that
allot
was-
them. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
going to be my sentiments, that not being a formal municipal body, I'm so sympathetic and would love to support, and also I don't feel great about you know, having a non-taxpayer approved process towards that when one already exists, unless it was like such a dire emergency that, you know, was, you know, it doesn't, yeah. Doesn't quite seem like it's the level of like emergency bailout that we'd be having, and more trying to just give general assistance. And I respect that there's every single one of those organizations we support annually could use that same level of general assistance. And I'm not sure we're in the position to do that.
Okay. Well, that sounds like the consensus that I figured, so I'll just pass that back along to Sebastian. So,
Okay.
thanks. All right, well, last call for Barry. Anything for
Can
Barry?
you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now, yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering on that vote you did for the tax dates,
Yep,
which of those 3 dates is the deadline, which if you miss, it's delinquent?
so the delinquency for the education tax would kick in after the November 13th date, and the delinquency for the final payment would kick in after the May 13th date on the municipal side.
So nothing needs to be paid to the town until May? That's
No,
gonna-
no, I apologize. So the August 13th payment is the optional one. I'm sorry, the September 14th payment, the one we changed is optional.
Right,
Then you've got a November 13th payment. So that's a required 2/3 due for municipal property taxes. And the full education taxes. The final 1/3 of municipal is May 13th. So the
Final
delinquency
third. Yeah.
may, sorry, what was that?
The last third is due May.
Yeah, the final third is due on May 13th. So the delinquencies would kick in after November 13th if you have not paid 2/3 of your municipal property taxes.
and no bills have gone
No,
out.
tax
yet,
bills
correct?
went out on Friday, Saturday?
Oh,
Yeah.
they did, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
I received ours.
Yep.
that's all I've got.
Okay, thanks, Barry. Well, that's it for the agenda. I'm not sure if this was the quickest meeting that we've ever
My
had.
God.
but it was
I think so.
quick. So if there's nothing else for the board tonight, then a motion to adjourn is in order.
So moved.
Great, Jacob. with the-
I'll let
with the
Jacob do
movement.
that one. I'll second. Yeah.
All
Thanks,
right,
Mark.
we have a second from Mark. Is there any further discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye.
Good night.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, motion carries. Thanks, everybody, for a quick, efficient meeting.